This is the one skill that levels up everything in your leadership. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Top of the morning, welcome back. This is the Game Changer podcast with Setema Gali. You guys better get your minds right and get up and let's go. See, it's more than the game that we changing.
You ever met a leader who was just so good? Like they inspired you. You wanted to follow them. They could say a few words and you'd be running through brick walls and running marathons and swimming miles in the ocean. You ever met something like that? You ever worked with a leader who you just wanted to do more? You just wanted to be better because of who this person was. You see, these leaders all have they got a lot of things in common, but the single greatest thing that I'm going to share with you today is simply this. These leaders, they know what their role is. All right, let's talk about it. When a leader knows what their role is, meaning they'll be whoever they need to be for you so you can do whatever you need to do and be who you ever need to be who you need to be. That's a kind of a tongue twister. Let's say it again. The leader knows who he needs to be. Sometimes the leader needs to be the worker. Sometimes the leader needs to be the visionary. Sometimes the leader needs to be the pathfinder. Sometimes the leader needs to be the drill sergeant. Sometimes a leader needs to be a father figure or a mother figure. What this means is you have to know who you are, because being who you are means you know who your people are. I coach football, 13U football, and my son's 13, and again, I love our team. I coached last year, and what I've learned is, there's football coaches out there who they say the same thing day in, day out. They treat every player the same. But see, here's the problem. As if you have kids, every child is not the same and is different. And so you have to be able to adapt and adjust and then attack again, right? Adapt, adjust, attack. And attack, I don't mean go crazy, just get back in the game. So being a leader, right? If you want to level up your leadership skills, you got to know who you are. And at the same time, you got to know who your people are, which means you're really good at observation. You're really good at asking questions. You're really good at just caring and giving a damn about people. They did this study where they said leaders do all these things. And the thing that was the greatest thing was that they said leaders lead, which means what? If you've got 5 employees or 10 employees or team members, whatever you want to call them, every one of them has different hot buttons. So you respond accordingly. You have different conversations with them. You have some real emotional intelligence. Again, I'm going to come back. This one's a simple one today. You be who you need to be because you know who you are and you know what they need. So take a look at your people today. Are you really leading them? Some people, you need to be a mirror for them. Some people, you got to cast a vision for them. Some people, you get to motivate and inspire them. Some people, you get to be the drill sergeant. Some people, you just follow up and push them. That's what a real leader does. Today, there's so many books on leadership. Leaders do this and leaders do that. I don't read those books anymore, because the more you read those books, you get confused. You're like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do this. No, it's easy. Ready? Be who you need to be so they can be their best, which means, again, you're observing, you're asking, you're listening intently. You're really getting to know who your people are. You're setting the vision. You're setting the direction. You're setting the speed. You're setting the culture based upon what they want. And the best leaders that I know, they figure out what it is that their people want. And then they help their people get what they want. And the way they do that is you help them get what you want, and then you help them get what they want, right? You provide the job and the training and the paycheck and the culture and the office. And they provide you with the labor and the value and the teamwork. Teamwork make the dream work. So this is a different video, because most videos are going to say leaders do this and this and this. And I'm just telling you right now, you want to be a great leader? The best leaders, they be who they need to be so your people can be who they need to be. The way you do that is by observing and asking and listening and serving your people and creating value for them in such a way that you get them to execute necessary, required actions. I had a team member, and she single mom, and she was sensitive, soft-hearted. And so I treated her very differently than my other team member, who was a young single gal. And I treated those two different than my other team member, who was in his late 40s, married with children. And I treated him different than I treated my other team member who had teenagers, because great leaders, again, they be who they need to be so that your people can be who they need to be. So let's just take a look at this. When you walk into a room, then you don't have to speak. You really don't got to speak to be a leader. That's the crazy thing. But when you walk into a room, are you leading? Do you lead? When you're with your family, do you lead? In other words, do you know how to touch and motivate and move and lift, inspire your children and your spouse? Do you know how to do that for your VPs and your directors? Do you know how to do that for your sales guys and for your marketing people? That's what a great leader does. I'm not going to give you a list of things because, quite frankly, it's all BS. One of the greatest leaders that I'd say walked this planet, his name was Jesus. Jesus knew how to be with the sinners. He also knew how to be with the Romans. He also knew how to be with the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Jesus knew how to compel people to change their life. And one of the greatest things that I believe leaders do is they leave people better than when they found them, even if those people don't want to be left better than when they were found. So, what can you take from this video for you today? Are you being who you need to be? Do you even know what it takes to move your people, to lift them, to touch their hearts, and to inspire their spirits and their souls? Do you know what it takes? Is it words? Is it action? Is it coaching? Is it mentoring? Is it a text message? Is it a note? That's a leader. And if you can start to do that, I just challenge you to go out throughout your day today. Challenge you to do this. As you go throughout your day, just say, am I being who I need to be today? Am I being who I need to be? Am I being who I need to be for these people? Because again, depending on who you're with, I could be with a 13U football team. I'm going to speak to them very differently than I'm going to speak to a high school football team. Very differently than I would speak to a bunch of grown dudes in the NFL. Very different than I'd speak to a bunch of entrepreneurs who are making 10 million plus. Very different than I'd speak to a group of brand new entrepreneurs. Be who you need to be so they can be who they need to be, so you can know how to move, touch, lift, and inspire them and make a difference for them to get them to execute necessary required actions and become all who they were meant to become. If this has been helpful, I invite you to click on the link and go get your book called Game Changer. It's free plus shipping. All you got to do is pay for the shipping, but go get your book right now and enjoy the book. That's about how to become a game changer, how to get the most out of life, how to live your calling, no matter where you've come from, no matter where you've been. All right, my friends, until next time, I'm out.